Welcome back to Foxborough. Bob Costas along with Gene Washington, and we're going to take a look at how New England went out in front 14-0. Vegas Ferguson and Russ Francis have the touchdowns.
Well, they're getting all of the breaks. It's a reversal of their first game. Let's take a look here. This is evidence of what's going on. The Pats are getting the breaks. Ferguson goes through there untouched, unmolested for the first touchdown, and we'll see Francis coming back with their second touchdown. Has a good fake. He just fakes, roams out. He comes out, gives him a little move, and he breaks to his left. He's wide open. There it is. Cavanaugh gets him the ball. He has his man beat by 3 yards. Like I said before, a complete reversal of their first meeting. New England getting all of the breaks in this first half, and the feeling I have up here is that the second half will continue to be the same way.
Meanwhile, New England has to win these last 2 games against Buffalo, the next week against New Orleans, and they need help from other people if they're to win the division or get a wild card spot. As for Buffalo, a win today, if they can come from behind, then the division title is theirs. But it'll be an uphill climb with Minucci in at quarterback. NFL 80 halftime activities continue in a moment, right back after these messages from your local station.
Sunday on Chips, Ponch and John stage an airborne rescue when Bonnie is kidnapped by a vicious motorcycle gang. Then, for the first time on TV, the kidnapping of the president.
The president will be dead.
Starring Hal Holbrook, William Shatner, Van Johnson, and Ava Gardner. Sunday, a night of adventure on NBC.
A new 81 Datsun MPG at Nationwide Datsun is sale priced at only $4,699. Pay only $299 down and $120 per month. Buy a new Datsun 200SX or 510 at Nationwide Datsun and get a $1,000 cash rebate. Buy an 81 Datsun 210 or 310 and get a $600 rebate. Get a $1,500 cash rebate on a new 1981 Datsun 280ZX at Bill Schaefer's Nationwide Datsun, York and Timonium Road.
Listen to Techniques, the science of sound. A quality of technology so advanced, its infrared remote system controls 35 component functions. Hear the sonic excellence of a metal tape deck that sets recording levels by microcomputer. Listen to Techniques SL10 direct drive turntable. With technology so innovative, it even plays upside down. Listen to Techniques, the science of sound.
Okay, you tasted beer A, the new National Bow, beer B, Miller, and beer C, Budweiser. And you chose the new National Bow as tasting more expensive.
Goes down smoothly. There's no bite, no raspiness. Very expensive taste.
I thought it was an import. It just tasted richer.
It has a better taste. It's going to have me changing. I'll take that one to finish it if you want me to.
Seems to have more body and a little more zest. National Bohemian. Sure tastes different. It tastes like #1 beer.
The new National Bow. You have to taste it to believe it.
Hi, I'm Vince Bagley, wishing you a happy holiday from WBAL-TV.
This 1980 National Football League game is brought to you by Natural Light Beer. Taste is why you'll switch to Natural Light. By Dodge, with the new 6-passenger Dodge Aries K and the new Ram Tough Dodge pickups and vans. By Dial It National Sports. For a fast update on the national sports scene, dial 800-976-1313. And by The Hartford and its independent agents who can protect your business, home, auto, and life.
When you've got to rely on your vehicles, rely on AC Delco. AC fire ring spark plugs, AC filters, Delco shocks, and a battery even tougher than the Freedom. The maintenance-free Delco Freedom 2 battery with more efficient starting power. For over 50 years, hard-working people have relied on AC Delco parts for just about anything that moves.
AC Delco, working hard for you.
And right now, AC Delco is making it possible for you to get the Delco Freedom 2 battery on sale at participating outlets.
During his career, Vince Ferragamo has been sacked by some of the NFL's most ferocious linemen. But lately, he's been scrambling more off the field than on. The December issue of Inside Sports, where you can find out why Vince Ferragamo says his agent and the Rams management are roughing the passer.
On my weekly New York television show, I advise people on the best restaurants, gourmet food, and fine wine. Of course, advising about wine can be difficult, but a wine I confidently recommend is Hearty Burgundy from Ernest and Julio Gallo. a delightful wine with a most enjoyable taste. The truth is, the more you know about wine, the more you appreciate Gallo.
Hearty Burgundy from the winery of Ernest and Giulio Gallo.
Obscured a bit by the coaches, there you see Dan Minucci warming up. This young man will try and lead them back from a 14-0 deficit in the second half. As we take a look at the halftime stats, look at that difference in yards gained and in first downs.
Well, it's a complete reversal of their first meeting. New England has rushed so far for 104 yards in the first half. Buffalo has 54, almost twice as many, and this is not the kind of result you would expect. I don't think that New England has punted at all today.
New England has not had to punt yet. The only time we've seen Mike Hubach has been on kickoffs. Kavanaugh, playing in place of the injured Steve Grogan, has done very, very well. Ron Earhart, knowing that even should his club win today, they need help from somebody. It's difficult to say exactly who. If it's a divisional title that they aspire to, they'll need help next week from San Francisco. If they were to upset the Bills, and if the Patriots won as expected in New Orleans, they would get that divisional title. If Buffalo loses today, they can still wrap up the divisional title by beating San Francisco in the season finale. But New England would have a wild card chance if they beat New Orleans, wound up 10-6, and if some of the other wild card contenders were to stumble. Nick Mickemeyer kicks it off, and New England has possession as Horace Ivory takes it out across the 25-yard line. D. Hardison made the tackle, number 74. Bob Costas with Gene Washington at Schaefer Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. The Patriots 14 and the Bills nothing. First play from scrimmage in the second half. Morgan wide to the left and Jackson wide to the right. Kavanaugh in his third year out of Pittsburgh. Quarterback that national championship team, which featured Tony Dorsett a few years back, gives to Vegas Ferguson, who might be on his way to a 100-yard day. And the rookie from Notre Dame gets maybe 4 yards on the play. We'll call it 2nd down and 6. Lucius Sanford, left outside linebacker, made the stop for Buffalo.
New England, with this 14-point lead, is now in the position to try to play some ball control football. I think the onus is now on Buffalo. They can't afford to let this club go down the field and eat up that clock. They need to get the ball back now, especially with a quarterback who hasn't thrown a pass all season before today.
Hasselbeck and Francis in the two tight end attack, both to the right side. Jackson, the only wide receiver, he goes left. Ferguson lowers his head, carries again on 2nd down. Ordinarily, the Patriots use 7 different running backs during the course of a game. Alan Clark, Horace Ivory, Mosi Tatupu, Andy Johnson, Chuck Foreman all see action, as well as the starters, Ferguson and Calhoun. Now, we have seen Ivory and we have seen Tatupu and occasionally Johnson from scrimmage, but when they go on the ground, it's been all Vegas Ferguson.
Well, Andy Johnson is in there now. They usually bring him in situations where they want to throw the ball. This is one of those situations, 3rd and 3 or 4, and he's a very good receiver for a running back.
Don Westbrook also in as a 3rd wide receiver. Kavanaugh from the shotgun, scrambling right, looking for the first down, got the first down before going out of bounds.
Flag down. There may be illegal use of the hands against number 74, Shelby Jordan. Looked to me as though he was pushing the defensive lineman in the back when Kavanaugh took off. Let's see what the call is.
Well, it's against Buffalo.
Well, he sure saw something else. Again, New England continues to get the breaks.
The official injury report, which will not make Chuck Knox any happier, from the Bills sideline: Jeff Nixon a sprained knee, Joe Ferguson a sprained ankle. Neither will return today. We wonder if they'll play next week against San Francisco. Here's Cal Lepore.
Personal foul, unnecessary rough in the face mask, 71 defense. It's a first down.
Mike Kadish grabbed the face mask of Matt Kavanaugh. A first down at the 47-yard line of Buffalo. There's Kadish, number 71, who comes in as a 4th down lineman in passing situations. Not only have the Bills been outgained, they've been penalized more heavily than the Patriots have. Calhoun carries. Big haul off left tackle, and Calhoun is near the Buffalo for another first down.
And you hear the crowd again saying, "Hoon, hoon." Let's take a look at this replay. They run a little trap in there. There's a trap block. Very good block. Calhoun gets up there, and there's no one there but Bill Simpson to meet him. Breaks through the hole cleanly. No one touches him until he comes to the free safety, number 45, Bill Simpson, who bulldogs him down.
12:50 and the clock moving. Early third quarter. Kavanaugh barking the signals. Two tight end attack. Francis left, Hasselbeck right. Ferguson. That hole closed in a hurry, led by Jim Haslett, number 55.
When you said it closed in a hurry, it sure did. They had him in a vice.
Lucius Sanford, 57, also got there. Gain of 1, 2nd and 9. 35-yard line of Buffalo. Patriots looking to build on a 14-0 lead. Sun settling in behind the stands, and it will become even colder down on the field. Temperature now has dipped into the high 20s, and the wind chill is below 0. Kavanaugh retreating on 2nd and long. Swinging it out of the backfield to Vegas Ferguson. Ferguson looking to pick up a block. Shane Nelson did a good job of shedding that block, and he makes the stop along with Charles Romes, number 26.
He did an excellent job of playing that. He had a blocker coming at him, and he did a super job. What they want to do is they want to try to get that linebacker off his feet. Shane Nelson shed the block, stayed on his feet, and was able to make the play. Tremendous effort.
Now on 3rd down and 6 from the 32, a 3-wide receiver set is coming up for New England with Westbrook, Jackson, and Morgan in, and just one running back. That's Andy Johnson, number 32. Johnson, the 6-year man out of Georgia. Excellent in these 3rd down situations. You liken him to a guy like Don McCauley for Baltimore. Rufus Bess in as the nickelback for Buffalo. From the shotgun, Kavanaugh. On 3rd and 6, he is under the gun, gets it away. Calhoun catches it, driven out, short of the first down.
Taken down by Steve Freeman.
Kavanaugh got big pressure from number 58, Isaiah Robinson, who came from the short side, not wanting to allow him to sit back there and be able to read. Let's take a look at this replay. We may get a shot of Isaiah coming in. There he is. There's Butch Robinson coming in, forcing him out of the pocket, forcing him to throw the ball a little before he wanted to.
Late in the first half, Ron Earhart had a 4th and 8. And the Patriot coach said, go for it. They did. Got a big gain, setting up 1st and goal on a pass to Russ Francis. A few minutes later, Kavanaugh hit Francis for a touchdown. Now on 4th and 3, they'll go for it again. 11:05 to play 3rd quarter. From the 29-yard line of Buffalo. And with a 14-0 lead, the Patriots need 3 yards. Kavanaugh pumps, looks, tucks it in. He's got a first down, 20-yard line, 15-yard line, slides down at the 13-yard line of Buffalo.
For being a very good actor, because let's take a look at the replay. We'll get a shot of him. When he decides to run that ball, he becomes an actor, and he has 45 Bill Simpson in front of him, but he fakes him out, comes back to the middle. Simpson can't get there to prevent him from getting the first down. Let's take a look at Russ Francis trying to work himself open. A nice double fake. Does a good job. He's open, but Kavanaugh has already decided now that he's going to run for that first down.
And run he did for 17 yards. Vegas Ferguson tripped up and down. Steve Freeman from his strong safety spot. Shot through, made a good defensive play. Give him a gain maybe nothing. Let's call it 2nd down and 10. Scoreboard says 2nd and 11, but the ball is right at the original line of scrimmage, so we'll say 2nd and 10.
Steve Freeman has really come on. 6 interceptions, playing very good at that strong safety position.
Look at this stat, Gene.
Boy, that's something. That is something. But I talked to a lot of those Patriots ball players. They were really upset, as you mentioned before, because the writers had come out and said they were a bunch of losers. They like their coach. They know that this game is key for the whole organization, players and coaches.
And now Matt Kavanaugh decides he wants to go to the sideline and talk things over with Ron Earhart. It is 2nd and 10. The ball is at the 13-yard line of Buffalo. The clock reads 9:33 to play 3rd quarter. The Patriots lead at 14-0. They're threatening to make it more.
Hey, Norm, when it comes to switching to natural light, add me to the roster.
Tony Jurgensen, good to see you. Did you switch for the all-natural ingredients?
No, I switched for the taste. Natural light tastes better to me.
You old quarter horse, you lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, look at me. If I'd have been in this shape 5 years ago, I might have even run with the ball.
The moves he could have made.
Yeah, like the old quarterback sneak.
Yeah. Hey.
Natural light. Taste is why you'll switch.
What I know about my car could fit in the glove compartment. I just want someone to work on it I can trust.
My mechanics and I are professionals. We take pride in our work, and that builds trust.
I've always figured the best mechanics use quality parts.
If a part fails, it's my reputation that's damaged. So I use Napa brand parts. Lots of them are better than original parts.
For quality parts you can trust, look for the Napa sign. When the name is Napa, the standard is quality.
College basketball is off to a flying start as America's most exciting premier point guard Isaiah Thomas and the Hoosiers of Indiana take on the North Carolina Tar Heels Saturday on NBC.
As it comes down to the crunch with just 2 games left in the regular season, the spotlight in this AFC East is on a couple of young quarterbacks. Kavanaugh for New England in his 3rd year out of Pittsburgh, but at least he has had some game experience. Dan Minucci, with Joe Ferguson hurt, twisting an ankle in that first quarter, is really playing outside of holding for kick attempts for the first time in his entire career in his 2nd year out of Kansas State, and what a situation he has come into.
You're right, and it definitely has an effect on that relationship between the quarterback and the receivers.
2nd and 10 from the 13-yard line. Kavanaugh goes out of the shotgun. Both these clubs use that formation. Kavanaugh throwing over the middle. It is caught by Andy Johnson. It'll be 1st and goal at the 1. Now they're saying touchdown. A delayed call. They call it a score. I thought he had been stopped short, but they say Johnson got the ball over the plane of the end line, and a touchdown for a 20-0 New England lead.
Well, let's take a look. Andy Johnson is going out to his left, makes a move, and comes back across the middle. They put him in there when they want to have a running back who has good hands and knows how to find that open area. Gets a good throw from Matt Kavanaugh. They're playing like a championship football team right now. These guys are doing everything right.
Kavanaugh's 2nd touchdown pass. 13-yarder. Smith drills it home. 46th consecutive point after that he has hit on this year. The touchdown for Andy Johnson was his 1st of the season. New England rolling with 9:26 left in the 3rd.
Yes, honey, I'll have a good dinner. Gotta go.
Tough case, huh?
Tough ain't the word.
Perez is back from Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm starving.
Why Kentucky Fried Chicken?
It's a hard case. My men deserve a fresh hot meal. Great chicken. Great price.
Anything else?
His wife will kill him if he doesn't eat right.
It's so nice, nice to feel so good about a meal, so good about Kentucky Fried Chicken.
America's not going to be pushed around anymore.
New front-wheel drive Dodge Aries K challenges BMW to a test of handling on a slippery track covered with oil and water. BMW says it's the ultimate driving machine, but in 14 out of 16 tries, it spins out. Aries, same speed, same test driver, outhandles BMW every time. Aries, America's highest mileage 6-passenger car. At your Dodge Ram dealer.
Now Dodge fights high interest rates with 6% off all new 81 cars. Get $325 to $1,000 direct.
New England has picked up right where they left off in the first half. Bob Costas along with Gene Washington. The Pats lead builds to 21-0.
They have that big lead. Now let's see what the Buffalo Bills are going to do. They're going to have to put the ball in the air if they want to get back into this game.
And Dan Minucci is going to be the guy who'll have to do it for them. Hubach kicks off. A short boot, the ball out across the 35-yard line. So Buffalo will have reasonably good field position as they try and dig into this 21-0 deficit. That last play on which Johnson scored looked awfully close to me. Let's look at it again, Gene. Looked to me like he was down at the 1.
We have a little different angle up here, and I think what we'll see on this replay is that the official who's closest will look to the other official from the far side for him to give the call. I think what happened is that Andy Johnson, as soon as he hit down, had a part of his body across that plane.
Johnson did get the ball across, but it looked to me like he was still holding the ball out away from the goal line when his knee hit it about the 1. Joe Cribbs carries. Moving down toward 9 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter.
Well, an interesting scenario is building up. Let's assume that Buffalo does not win this football game. They have to go out next week and play San Francisco. I think the key is going to be whether Ferguson can come back from that injury today and play next week. But they're going to be playing against a team, San Francisco, who can put lots of points on the board.
And what an interesting role San Francisco from the NFC West has played in this race in the AFC East. They have already beaten New England. Now the Patriots will look for some help from the 49ers, hoping they can also upset Buffalo. Cribbs carries and gets the first down. Ball at midfield and the clock moving. 8 minutes and 15 seconds. This series, of course, a long-standing one. Goes back to AFL days, when Buffalo and New England were usually the top two teams in the Eastern Division of the old AFL. Abe Perilli would battle Jack Kemp in many of those games. Gene Washington was but a lad. Minucci scrambling. Minucci back to the line of scrimmage, and wisely in an act of self-preservation out of bounds.
Minucci on a key.
In this situation, you wonder what they talked about when they got into the dressing room. Minucci's in a tough spot. He's going to have to put the ball in the air. New England is doing everything right. They're getting all of the breaks. It's a tough position for a quarterback to come in, and as you mentioned before, hasn't thrown a pass all season before today's game. What happens is that the receivers who have gotten accustomed to Ferguson and the way he throws the ball, now they have to begin to wonder themselves, and they wonder, should I make an adjustment on my route? And when you start doing that, the problems just compound.
Minucci, as a matter of fact, had not thrown a pass in a regular season game in his entire career before today. 2nd and 10. Scrambling up the middle. Looking. Tucks it in. 5 yards. Maybe 7 before he goes down. In the grasp of Mike Haynes, the right cornerback.
Mike Haynes, watch out.
7.5 minutes to play, third quarter. 3rd down and 3 coming up. Here's Jerry Butler working against Haynes.
He gets into that middle, into that open area in the zone. He's trying to find a spot. But Rick Sanford is right there to make sure that they don't throw the ball in there, or if they do, he's going to take it away. These situations, when you want to try to get the momentum shifted, you almost do anything to try to make something happen. Broken plays, oftentimes a quarterback can get a play like that out of a broken play.
Joe Cribbs does not get what he needs. They're short of it, I believe. They had to go to just shy of the 40-yard line. I think they are short of it by less than a yard. If they are, Chuck Knox, conferring there with Kay Stevenson, the quarterback coach, almost has to go for it in this situation.
Well, that's still a tough call. There's still plenty of time. I mean, they can score lots of points still in the second half. But maybe you do go for it. Maybe you do something to try to change the momentum. If they go for it and they get it, then that can build up their own self-confidence.
They are short by a foot. They got to go for it, Gene.
Well, I think you're right, and I think that's the indication they are going to go for it. If they don't make it, it might be sayonara. These Pats are so fired up now. If they hold them here, this crowd's going to roar, and these guys are just going to have even more adrenaline flowing in their veins.
So frequently in the long NFL season now, 16 games, injuries play an important part in who wins the divisions, who gets into the playoffs. And what a cruel blow it would be for Buffalo if Ferguson's injury is serious and if he can't play next week against San Francisco, as well as missing virtually all of this game. Leaks and Cribbs, again are the running backs. Cribbs 20, Leaks 48. They need less than a yard. Leaks gets it. First down, Buffalo. Roosevelt Leaks at 5'10" and about 230 pounds. Pretty tough to stop him when he needs only a foot.
And what do? They run behind their best blocker, Reggie McKenzie. He paves the way, and he opens it up, and he gets it very clear. Let's take a look. Almost missed the handoff.
I noticed that myself, Gene, and that's an example of Minucci not having worked with these people as extensively as Ferguson. He had to reach to get that ball into Leaks' gut. The timing just a little bit off. 5:55 to play third quarter. Buffalo trailing 21-0. Minucci wings one to the sideline for Butler. Jerry Butler whirling around and going down after a very short gain. Rod Schote, the right outside linebacker, makes the play and gets a high five from Ray Claiborne.
And number 71, Ray Hamilton, was out there, coming from nose tackle, getting all the way to the sideline to help make the tackle on a wide receiver on a screenplay. That's desire.
Ray Hamilton there, 71 going out. Tony McGee comes in. 2nd and 8 from the 36-yard line. 5:15 to play. Curtis Brown and Joe Cribbs are the backs. Manucci with protection, which is now breaking down, and he is belted. Loses the football. It belongs to New England unless they rule that the fumble came after the sack, and that might be the ruling.
I think they're going to rule that the defenders had control of the quarterback, and that's when they call the play dead. Let's take a look on the replay. They obviously had control of him right here. Once they get control, the official rules that the play is over. Although looking from this replay, it looked like the ball squirted away, though, just after they hit him.
John Zamberlin very politely moving the official out of the way in an effort to recover the ball. It was Richard Bishop and Tony McGee who squeezed Manucci and caused the fumble. That is the 5th New England sack against a team which, coming into today's game, had allowed only 3 sacks in the last 8 weeks and only 12 sacks through 14 games. Best protection figure in the entire NFL. Now they have 3rd and 27 with 4:32 left in the 3rd quarter and a 3-touchdown deficit. Manucci got to crank one up. He does over the middle. Has his target, but it's short of the first down. Jerry Butler makes the catch. Well, they're close enough to make it a realistic try on 4th down. They got 21. It's 4th and 6. Let's watch Jerry Butler.
Butler has been very effective in getting downfield, avoiding the initial contact with the linebacker out here, getting downfield, putting pressure on the defensive back, driving him off. Then he comes into the middle and finds that open area. And Butler is a big target for a wide receiver. He has good height, so a quarterback likes to get the ball to a guy. The ball needs to be a little high. If you have a guy with that height and agility, he can go up and get it.
3:45 and the clock moving. And now Manucci wants to go to the sideline and talk things over. So Manucci will talk with Knox and Stevenson. We'll come back with 4th and a long 5 facing the Buffalo Bills. 3:46 to play, 3rd quarter.
I used to run through airports. Now I fly through them. With new Hertz #1 Express service, I fly non-stop from my plane to my car without stopping at the counter. If you ask for #1 Express when you make your reservation, your Ford or other fine car and contract will be waiting at the #1 Express booth. Once again, Hertz puts you in the driver's seat faster than anybody else.
Business has discovered a whole new problem.
Oh, my.
The flood of information.
Help.
How do you use information instead of being inundated by it? You get the Xerox 860 Information Processor. It helps you manage words and numbers. And if you plug it into the Xerox information outlet, the 860 can share huge amounts of information with other office machines through the Ethernet network, giving every organization what it needs most: better organization.
New Year's Day on NBC. See Michigan take on Washington in the Rose Bowl, followed by the Orange Bowl, as Florida State battles Oklahoma in a game that could decide the national championship.
The first downs. Patriots have 18. Buffalo has but 5. The Bills have been blanked on the scoreboard, trailing 21-0. 4th and a long 5. Ball at the 33-yard line of New England. Manucci after the timeout from the shotgun set. Scrambling up the middle, sacked. 6th sack of the day for the New England front 4. Tony McGee makes the play.
Dan Manucci obviously saw a defense that they weren't expecting. He changed the play at the line of scrimmage. He called an audible. The result wasn't very good for them. New England coming in, putting lots of pressure on, getting the sack, taking over now in good field position themselves.
A dejected Dan Manucci must sit down. It's been all New England on both sides of the line of scrimmage so far today.
We're
We're Exxon. We're Jim Sessom, finding better ways to get electricity from sunlight. We're John Willis, at a promising oil find in Alaska. We're Dr. John Sinfeld, whose work on new catalysts won him the National Medal of Science. We're Illinois coal miners, providing fuel for Midwest power plants. We're Cindy Tate, helping bring a $350 million oil platform into production. We're more than 100,000 people working on energy. We're Exxon.
Gordy, who? You switched to natural light.
Sure, natural light tastes better to me. That's why I switched.
And it's all natural ingredients. Tell me, Gordy, now that you've retired, life's a little more peaceful, huh? Much more. 2 natural lights, please. Give me a check.
Check. Natural light. Taste is why you'll switch.
I'm learning to take it easy.
Him too.
Check.
Santa Claus wearing the red and white of the New England Patriots, although I guess he had the uniform first. All the gifts have belonged to the Pats today. 21-0 they lead. Cavanaugh back to take the snap from his own 40-yard line. Vegas Ferguson gains about 6. Cleveland's lead over Minnesota is a touchdown in the third quarter. Houston a 6-point lead at Green Bay in the third. Kansas City jumps in front of Pittsburgh 16-7 in the third. If the Steelers lose, they can just about forget it. Cardinals and the Eagles in a defensive struggle. Atlanta leads San Francisco. And it will be at San Francisco that Buffalo will try and clinch it next week. 7-3 the score there. Atlanta closing in on the NFC West title. Calhoun carries. And the Bills hold a team meeting on his body. So much for him. Jets now lead New Orleans 13-7. Saints going for 15 in a row. And Cincinnati over Chicago at Soldier Field 14-0 in the second. 2:40 left, third quarter. Patriots content to let that clock roll. They're in no hurry at all. This is not the most comfortable time of year to be a cheerleader. Use those pom-poms to warm your knees. Third down conversions, Pats are 6 of 8. 3rd and 4 from the shotgun. They give it to Calhoun and didn't fool anybody.
That's not a bad call in this situation. You have a comfortable lead, 21 points. Maybe you pop this one and you get a big gainer out of it. The other side, though, is if you put it up in the air and you get an interception, the Bills end up with the football in good field position. Their defense, the Pats defense, is playing so well. Why not let them come out on the field, do their job with a 21-point lead? They know that Buffalo's going to throw the ball. Those guys can lay their ears back now and get that pass rush coming.
Uh-oh. And the bad snap. Hubach, who was back to punt for the first time, look out, safety. That might not have been such a bad move. Instead of trying to kick it, go down for the 2 points and kick it from the 20-yard line instead of giving them the ball at the 15 or the 20.
Well, this snap wasn't even close. He didn't even jump for it because it was so high over his head. And you're right, Bob. He made the right decision. There's no point in trying to kick this ball now because the result is likely to be a touchdown for Buffalo. He does a smart thing. He takes the safety. Let's take a look at this angle. Again, it's not even close. He just turns and tries to run under it like a center fielder. He can't get there, though. This is really the first break for Buffalo.
Dwight Wheeler snapped the ball high. Rufus Best gets the 2 points with the tackle in the end zone for the safety. Coming right back.
If fire strikes your home, you should have the superior insurance protection of the Hartford's Value Right program. It can provide the full replacement value of your home and its contents. Value Right protects you from fire, theft, and inflation. To protect your home, business, auto, or life, call an independent agent who represents the Hartford for a quote. The Hartford. Let us protect your world.
America's not going to be pushed around anymore.
Dodge announces an historic breakthrough, the new Omni Miser with the highest highway mileage any American car has ever achieved. Miser squeezes out more gasoline mileage than Toyota Corona, more than Honda Accord, more than VW Rabbit, more than the World Car four-door Ford Escort, and at a lower price, only $52.99. Omni Miser at your Dodge Ram dealer.
Now Dodge fights high interest rates with 6% off all new 81 cars. Get $325 to $1,000 direct.
This is Brian Gumble in New York at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. The Chiefs have just enjoyed a 13-point third period. Nick Lowry here making good from 50 yards out. Pushes Kansas City ahead of Pittsburgh 16-7 as they start the fourth. If the Steelers lose, they're out of the playoff picture. Let's go back to New England.
Thank you, Bryant. With the free kick, they will not punt it. Hubach will kick it off the placement. Roland James holds it for him. And Hubach, into that wind, sends one wobbling down to the 30-yard line where Roland Hooks bobbles it, picks it back up, retreats, and is spun down. Bill Matthews got there. Alan Clark was also there, 35.
I think there's a flag down on the field. Could be a very important penalty if it's against New England for Buffalo. Maybe get some of the field position back for them.
Looks like it's against the Bills, Gene. Illegal use of the hands against Buffalo, says Cal Lepore. On the botched punt attempt, Dwight Wheeler was the guy who centered the ball. The first time all season that Wheeler has had a bad snap. It's a very cold day, and that was Wheeler's first snap attempt on a punt because New England is yet to kick the ball all day long.
Illegal use of the hands, 55. Returning team, it's a first down.
So the ball is back at the 24-yard line for a 1st and 10. And David Humm has come into the game. Minucci had his turn. Now it's David Humm, the third-string quarterback, wearing number 10. So it was Wheeler who made the snap over the head of Hubach. Hubach tackled in the end zone by Rufus Bess of the Bills. And Buffalo is on the scoreboard with the safety trailing 21-2. Joe Cribbs slips through. Nice run by Cribbs, about 8 yards. 2nd and 2 coming up. Ray Sugar Bear Hamilton, the tackler. Next Saturday, you can start your day with NFL 80. Bryant Gumbel, the host, of course. And you'll get all the inside info you need on the final weekend of the regular season. Plus a special feature on the sounds of football. And you will hear just football sounds, not broadcaster sounds, as the Jets meet the Dolphins in the announcerless game from the Orange Bowl. And then it'll be college basketball as the Indiana Hoosiers meet the North Carolina Tar Heels, all here on NBC Sports next Saturday. Joe Cribbs again. Cribbs for first down yardage for Buffalo. Clock moving, 35 seconds to play, third quarter.
It's interesting that Buffalo has decided to run the ball as opposed to put it in the air right away. Maybe what they want to do is try to spring Joe Cribbs on a big gainer or two and force New England to come up and play a little tighter. Then maybe they'll go to some play action passes.
David Humm in his 6th year out of Nebraska. He, like Minucci, had not thrown a pass prior to today. This will be his first toss of the season. Under pressure, he gets it away, batted away, and incomplete, and nearly intercepted by John Zamberlin. Intended receiver Jerry Butler, number 80.
As I mentioned before, they might be trying to set up a situation to go to play action. That's just what they did. Let's take a look. Fakes it into the line. He's dropping back. He's trying to find Butler, but there's nothing there. He waits until the last minute, and look at that hit. He gets sandwiched between two of the New England players, and I think the result is that those New England players ended up hitting each other more than they did David Humm.
Pat's defense excellent on both ends. Pressure off the rush, secondary coverage very good. Humm, the former Oakland Raider, hands the ball to Joe Cribbs. There was a hole briefly off right tackle. Ray Hamilton closed it, and that's the end of the third quarter. They get 3 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 7 coming up when we return. But at the end of the third quarter, the score is New England 21 and Buffalo 2. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Tuesday, it's the Bob Hope Christmas Special with Lonnie Anderson, Larry Gatlin, the AP College All-Americans, and Loretta Swit. Followed by the Dean Martin Christmas Special starring Eric Estrada, Andy Gibb, and Beverly Sills. Then it's the Steve Allen Comedy Hour with Larry Wilcox, Anthony Newley, and Steve Lawrence. It's a night of comedy Tuesday on NBC.
Oldsmobile has made my job easy because there's an Olds built to suit just about every need or desire. Of course, every Olds buyer wants that Olds at the right price with the best service. That's where City Olds shines. City Olds is staffed with trained mechanics and competent personnel to give you the best possible service and to help you with selection, financing, and insurance. On top of all this, you get your Olds at the right price. That's why City Olds has become known as the right price dealer, because we sell for less and service best.
It's all up to you, and you're gonna do it, and everyone is with you all the way. You got it! Give that man a blue ribbon.
Give that man a blue ribbon.
'Cause that's the way of saying that you're really most impressed. Give that man that's the ribbon.
Hey guys, what was my time?
That's blue ribbon here.
The Action News Team, weeknights at 6 and 11.
And we are proud of our coverage of NFL football. There in the back, we see someone vacationing from Iceland. And these are balmy skies as far as he's concerned. No shirt necessary under the overalls. The Patriots have dominated virtually every statistical category. They lead 21-2. The ball is at the 41-yard line of Buffalo as we start the fourth quarter. David Humm out of the Buffalo bullpen, their third quarterback today. And the southpaw is in trouble. They've been sacked 6 times. He gets it away. It's batted up in the air and intercepted. A diving interception by Rod Schote. For Schote, his third interception of the 1980 season.
Tremendous effort on the part of Rod Schote. When that ball was tipped, let's take a look. Lots of pressure. Humm's getting lots of pressure. He knows that he needs to get the ball in the air. They have to get it up to have a chance to win. The ball is tipped. Schote makes a diving effort to come up with that. Look at that. Tremendous effort. A very underrated player having a tremendous season this year.
From the New England 41. 1st and 10 Patriots. Big lead, 14:49 left.
Take it easy. You know, I was known for working long and hard during training camp. Why, even after my teammates were asleep, I'd still be out practicing my moves, and that's still important. So I drink light beer from Miller. Light tastes great. It's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer, and the best thing is it's less filling. Because listen, I still train the same way as the old days. Practice, practice, practice.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Here's another Radio Shack Christmas gift collection. 14 exciting new electronic games priced from $12.95 to $39.95. Fast action games with electronic sound effects. There's football, basketball, baseball, golf, shooting gallery, and more. Challenging entertainment for kids 6 to 60. Play alone or with a friend for hours of fascinating fun. The big electronic game assortment, available only at Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
This is Brian Gumbel in New York at Soldier Field in Chicago. The Bears are on the board. Lenny Walderscheid stripping the ball from Jack Thompson, and Alan Page recovers for a Bears touchdown. Still, it's 14-7 Cincy in the second. Let's go back to Foxborough.
Thanks a lot, Bryant. And let's look at this play again with Richard Bishop and Julius Adams putting pressure on. A desperation try by Roland Hooks off the pass from Humm, batted in the air, and Schote a great defensive play.
Talk to the New England players and you ask them about their defense, and one of the first guys they mention is Rod Schote. They say he's having a super year.
Kavanaugh hands the ball to Don Calhoun. Calhoun about 3 yards out to the 44-yard line, 2nd and 7. Clock winding down, 14:35 to play in the ball game. New England had a 14-0 lead at halftime. It's 21-2 right now. The Bills really have never had a serious scoring threat.
Just Well, when your #1 quarterback goes out early in the ball game, it has a psychological effect on your team. You know, you take a guy who's your leader and he's away, and it just has to have an effect.
Calhoun again. 3rd and about 5 will be upcoming. Kavanaugh for the day has hit 10 of 15, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 to Francis, 1 to Andy Johnson. Bill Simpson picked off one of his throws. That's the only one that Kavanaugh has had intercepted today.
Atlanta, if you look back at the Pats season, Atlanta is really the only team that has soundly beaten them, where they really weren't in the ball game that much. The other games that they lost, there were fluke plays, guys going for interceptions, the ball being tipped away. But you look at the way they're playing today, and this is the kind of team you saw early in the season and last year.
Well, Buffalo did beat them in October at Buffalo 31-13. This is 3rd down with Kavanaugh throwing off play action. Big play. Harold Jackson, there's your man. We've been waiting for him to get in on one all day long, Gene. 20-yard pickup, 1st down in Buffalo territory inside the 30.
Harold Jackson had 1 pass thrown his way last week. He was wondering if he was still in the game plan. He still has tremendous speed, lots of savvy. He knows how to find that open area. Gets the ball to him. Harold Jackson, one of the truly outstanding wide receivers in the game, and a guy at his age can still run a 4.40.
And the ball to the 27-yard line of Buffalo. The Patriots, we were talking about that game in October. In Buffalo, the Patriots feel like they were in the game. That was Jackson's first catch of the day. Buffalo might contend that they soundly beat them 31-13 the final. Here's Calhoun roaring off left tackle. And Calhoun has 1st down yardage near the 15-yard line. So perhaps you could put that game in the same category as Atlanta. This is a 12-yard pickup for Calhoun.
Look at the drive by that offensive line on the part of the Pats. Those guys are blowing them out. Hanna, Wheeler, Shelby Jordan. They're inspired now. These guys can sense it. You know, they can sense they're going to get into the playoffs. And once you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. It's a whole new ball game.
But to complete the thought, at 8-6, New England did lose by relatively large margins to both Atlanta and Buffalo. The other four games, they lost by a total of 14 points. Mosi Tatupu. And Tatupu struggles inside the 15-yard line. The clock is moving. 11:45 remaining.
I think the important thing about that thought, Bob, is that the players on the New England team felt that they were always in the game and they had a chance to win. And I think that's the key. If they feel that they can win a football game, that means an awful lot. They knew that their backs were against the wall today. For some of the players, the coach, everybody's talking about the fact that they're losers. And they've come out and they're playing championship football. They can go from this game and go right through the playoffs, and they have the capabilities of winning the entire package.
Kavanaugh to Tatupu. Tatupu breaking out of the grasp of a tackler, struggling to the 10-yard line.
If you look at the size of his legs, look at his body from the waist down, you can see why he's very difficult to bring down. A guy that has a center of gravity that low to the ground. When the guy gets in the ball game like this, the team is going well, he wants to contribute. And he does a good job there.
Got away from Shane Nelson and Steve Freeman before finally being stopped. They need 3 on 3rd down from the 10-yard line. Kavanaugh rolling right. Gotta get to about the 7. Throws, batted away, incomplete. Haslett knocked it away. Francis was the intended receiver, number 81.
If Haslett hadn't gotten out there and tipped it away at the last minute, let's take a look at this replay. Francis goes down and he breaks to the outside. Kavanaugh sees it, but he comes back to the middle, tries to get it in there, and Haslett just does tip it away. Russ Francis, he feels a touchdown right now. He says, I'm going to get it there. Just, oh, right at the last minute. Tipped it away. Just for good measure, he gets a little shot from the behind.
Kavanaugh will crouch and hold at the 17-yard line. Smith to kick from this distance. He's been perfect, 9 of 9. Can't find a guy who is more consistently accurate in short and medium range situations than Smith. And he puts this one through. John Smith, a 27-yarder. 10 minutes and 21 seconds to play in the ball game at Foxborough. The Patriots have padded their lead to 24-2.
Wheel drive Dodge Aries K Coupe has America's highest 6-passenger mileage and lowest 6-passenger price, $58.80, with its rich custom pleated interior. Or equip Aries the way you like. Automatic transmission, power steering, deluxe wheel covers, white walls, AM radio. Choose the ones you want or take them all for only $65.95. 4-door, $100 additional. Aries K at your Dodge Ram dealer.
Now Dodge fights high interest rates with 6% off all new 81 cars. Get $325 to $1,000 direct.
For whatever you need, take the first step. The Bell System Yellow Pages.
For the food after my baby walked down the aisle.
For the photographer who told us all to smile.
We took the very first step. For the chauffeur limousine.
And a honeymoon that's simply a dream. We took the very first step.
The first step puts you steps ahead, saves time, money, energy. So let your fingers do the walking.
It's the very first step. The first step.
This is Brian Gumble in New York at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. The Steelers are clawing back. Bradshaw Bell, touchdown. Steelers now within 2 of the Chiefs in the 4th. Let's go back to Foxborough. Bob Costas and Gene Washington.
The skyline above Schaefer Stadium.
Ominous-looking clouds, but I think they are only up over half this area, and the clouds always seem to be over Buffalo, the way things have been going today.
Kubach kicks off. Curtis Brown fields it. Brown out near the 30-yard line of Buffalo with the clock showing 10 minutes and 10 seconds to play. Steve King makes the tackle, number 52. You know, earlier, Gene, we were talking about the fact that coming into this game, New England had lost 6 times. They had been beaten soundly twice, Buffalo and Atlanta. The other 4 games, they lost by a total of 14 points. But turn it around. Look at Buffalo. I don't think they have to feel disheartened by this defeat. New England is a good ball club. They played virtually the entire game, the Bills did, without their top quarterback in Ferguson. And Hum and Minucci not only are backups, they're completely rusty. Neither one had thrown a pass all season long prior to today. Here is Hum dropping back on first down. And this is complete at the sideline. Caught by Ron Jesse, number 81, another former Ram whom Chuck Knox has brought to Buffalo. Now take a look at some of the people the Bills have beaten. Oakland, San Diego, New England, Pittsburgh, and Los Angeles. They have proven that they can beat the good teams. Cleveland leading Minnesota, but only by a touchdown in the 4th quarter. A 6-point lead for Houston. Green Bay playing them tough after last week's 61-7 loss against Chicago. Pittsburgh gets back into it in the 4th quarter, down by 2 against Kansas City. 2nd down and 3 for the Bills. Hum looking and cranking one out there deep. Duke Ferguson was the intended receiver, but Tim Fox, the free safety, was closer to it. Philly is on the board. That game was scoreless into the 3rd quarter. It's 10-0 now in the 4th for the Eagles. Atlanta 21-3 over San Francisco, rolling toward a record of 12-3. New Orleans has a chance for that first win, 14-13 in the 4th over the Jets, but the Saints have seen too many leads slip away to consider anything certain. Cincinnati over Chicago at Soldier Field in the 2nd quarter. 3rd and 3. Shotgun from the 36 of Buffalo. Hum dodges one tackler. Slips out of the grasp of another. First down. Fumbles as he's hit. Conrad Dobler comes over and recovers it for Buffalo. First down for the Bills.
New England is going with a 4-down lineman rush. And what they do when they get in that situation is they run lots of stunts in the middle like they did that time, and they put lots of pressure on the quarterback. And their defensive backs are not playing back. They're not giving a cushion. They're playing their regular football. They're going to make this club earn anything that they get. And they have the athletes on the corner in Claiborne and Hayes to play you man-to-man as good as anybody in the league. And they're saying, you guys, the Bills, you're going to have to earn anything. We're not going to let you take the ball and go down the field. And you look at how tight they're playing them. They're still playing man-to-man out there.
9:07 on the clock. 1st and 10 from the 41. The Patriots 24 and the Bills 2. Hum unloads yards, finds a target. Curtis Brown breaks the tackle. 45-yard line near the 40 of New England and shoved out of bounds, stopping the clock with 8:55 left. Ray Claiborne coming over to make the defensive play.
Let's take a look at this replay. David Humm drops back, gets a nice throw off. Brown breaks the tackle, turns a good run out of this. I think the interesting thing is, though, even in this situation, Buffalo has not lost their poise. And I think that's a good sign. They're continuing to play their brand of football. They don't have their #1 quarterback in there, but you can still see that they're a poised football team, and that's going to make a difference next week when they go out to San Francisco in a must-win situation.
And the big question all week long in Buffalo will be, can Joe Ferguson make it for that game? Regardless of what happens here, and a loss is apparent for Buffalo, they will win their divisional title if they beat San Francisco next week. The seldom used Terry Miller takes this pass down to the 35-yard line of the Patriots. Now here's a guy, Miller, in his 3rd year out of Oklahoma State in 1978 as a rookie, 1,060 yards and 7 touchdowns. Last year dropped under 500 yards. This year he's hardly played at all.
Well, he obviously has the ability. But he's playing behind a guy, Joe Cribbs, who's having a terrific season. When you have one player who's playing well, you don't want to interrupt his flow. Miller is unfortunately playing behind Cribbs, who's having a great year, but he still has the ability. What happens if Cribbs comes up with an injury? Then you need a guy like this.
8:10 left. Humm. Incomplete. Ron Jesse was there. Roosevelt Leaks had also come out of the backfield, and the ball fell between the two of them. To carry the thought about wins and losses a step further, and I want to make this point because of the fact that since the game has been all New England, naturally we've talked more about the Patriots than we have about the Bills, but Buffalo has beaten potential playoff teams: Oakland, San Diego, New England, Pittsburgh, and LA. They have lost 4 times, and only one of their 4 defeats has been a thrashing. Atlanta beat them, and beat them soundly. They've lost twice in close games to Baltimore. Turnovers hurt them in those ball games, and they were beaten by a field goal at Miami, a team which they beat earlier in the season in Buffalo. So they don't have to feel like they are outmanned by anybody they take the field against. Off the shotgun, Humm. Humm's one out to Terry Miller, who juggles and drops.
Miller almost had a chance to turn that into a big play. Tim Fox came across. He thought he had a shot for an interception. Let's take a look at this replay. Humm is trying to get the ball out there to Miller on the sideline. Tim Fox is reading it very well. He cuts in front, thinks he has the interception, and misses the ball. Miller's juggling it. If he'd been able to hold on to that ball, he might have been able to turn it in. He had a blocker in front. Might have been able to turn that into a touchdown.
Humm is 3 for 8 for 31 yards. And he's had 1 intercepted. Exactly 8 minutes to go. 4th and 5 from the 35 of New England. The Bills have never been much closer than this. Humm throwing, and incomplete. And New England takes over on downs. Bills quarterbacks, Humm, Minucci, and earlier Ferguson, have been sacked 6 times today by the New England Rush. That's half as many times as the Buffalo quarterbacks have been sacked all season long through 14 games coming into this afternoon's action. And when they haven't been sacked, they've frequently thrown under pressure. New England has the ball back, a 22-point lead, 7:55 left.
All over America, do-it-yourselfers are becoming Stanley Super Doers. They're doing bigger things, and they're doing them better and better. They depend on Stanley tools for measuring things right, for shaping things right, for making joints fit right. Tools that work right are made by Stanley, the do-it-yourself company.
Stanley, we want to help you do things right.
For a super deal on the NFL Thermos Jug and mugs, look for specially tagged Stanley tools.
On my weekly New York television show, I advise people on the best restaurants, gourmet food, and fine wine. Of course, advising about wine can be difficult, but a wine I confidently recommend is Hearty Burgundy from Ernest and Julio Gallo, a delightful wine with a most enjoyable taste. The truth is, the more you know about wine, the more you appreciate Gallo.
Hearty Burgundy from the winery of Ernest and Julio Gallo.
take a look at what's happening at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. It's now 21-16 with 6:08 left in the fourth quarter. Marv Albert and Mike Hafner have a good one going there. It was 16-7 Kansas City for a while, but Terry Bradshaw hit Theo Bell from 13 yards out. Rocky Blyer scored on an 11-yard run, and the Steelers have the lead back. They need to win their 2 remaining games, and then they need plenty of help and just the right combination all around the league if they're to have some kind of playoff chance. Mosi Tatupu carrying on first down. On first down this afternoon, Gene, the Patriots have run 20 times, and they have passed twice.
Buffalo now, I think, what they're doing, and I've played against, as I mentioned before, Chuck Knox football team. One of the things that can characterize any of his football teams is character and poise. And these guys continue to play with poise and character. They're not going to roll over and die and just say the game's over. They're going to continue to come. They're going to continue to stick it to New England. And they're going to have to earn everything they get.
On 2nd and 9, they go right into the shotgun. Cavanaugh throws it as he is being hit, and it's picked off. Buffalo has the ball back at their 45-yard line. Let's see who comes up out of this pack. It's Steve Freeman with his 7th interception of the season. Last week, he took one away on a Pat Hayden throw and ran it back 47 yards for a touchdown.
That ball sailed on Matt Cavanaugh, and the reason is that he was tackled just as he was about to release it. But as I mentioned before, this is a team with character, this Buffalo team, and this is the result. They're not giving up.
Second time Cavanaugh has been intercepted this afternoon.
When I was a kid working this old gas pump, I never thought I'd be back here telling you that Pennzoil saves gasoline. But now, that same Pennzoil that protects your engine saves you gas. Pennzoil has added gas savings to their regular multi-weight oils, and they've done it at their regular price. That way, more people can afford to save gas.
Gas-saving Pennzoil. Quality in every extra mile.
When high interest rates keep America from buying the fuel-efficient cars it needs, it's time to do something about it. Starting now, when you buy a new U.S.-built 81 Chrysler, Plymouth, or Dodge passenger car on credit, you can deduct 6% from the sticker price, including options, because we think the interest rates are 6% too high. That number will move up or down depending on a significant change in the prime interest rate. Make your best deal, then get $325 to $1,000 direct from Chrysler. We'll help you buy the car you want.
That's the whole story. 7 minutes and 3 seconds separating the New England Patriots from a victory that would draw them to within a game of the Buffalo Bills in the AFC East. If New England does not make the playoffs, Gene, they will look back ruefully at what happened the past 2 weeks against San Francisco and Monday night at Miami. If they'd won either one of those 2 games, they'd be in great shape with the victory here. Hum has his pass knocked down by Steve Nelson, who was closing fast from his linebacker spot.
Second down and 10.
Bowl action coming up over the holiday season on NBC. The Fiesta Bowl on December 26th, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions of Penn State against Earl Bruce's Ohio State Buckeyes. And then, of course, on New Year's Day, we've got the Rose Bowl with Washington against number 5 Michigan, the champions of the Big Ten. That's at 4:30 Eastern Time, and that's followed by the Orange Bowl. The second-ranked Florida State goes against Big 8 champion Oklahoma. 3 great bowl games over the holidays on NBC. Nearly intercepted by Nelson.
Earlier, some of the people had criticized the Pats down linemen for not putting pressure on the quarterback. I talked to some of the players and I said, is there a problem? They say, not at all. It's tough to get a good rush from a 3-4, but they're not in at 3-4 now. They have a big lead. They have 4 down linemen. Looks like they still can rush the quarterback to me.
Nelson almost had his 4th interception of the season. Hum has missed connections on his last 5 passes. He has been under pressure every time. 6:51 left, 3rd and 10 from the Buffalo 44. Miller and Hooks are in the ball game, each set in a slot off the shotgun. Hum looking and throwing, and out across across midfield. The catch is made. They are shy of the first down. Duke Ferguson gathered it in, and Ray Claiborne hit him immediately.
Let's take a look at this replay. Duke Ferguson is in now. He's up against one of the best corners in the league, and Ray Claiborne, who's still in good position. Look at that. He's running step by step, but Ferguson is able to shield him away from the ball. Bob, an interesting point here. Buffalo now has Ferguson in the game, Duke Ferguson and Ron Jesse. They've taken their starting wide receivers out, and I think that's a very smart move. They're likely to lose this football game. In a passing situation like this, you can get your receivers hurt. Why get your starting guys injured today? Because next week is a game that's going to count out in San Francisco.
So Jesse and Ferguson must not only play, but perhaps be sacrificial lambs. 4th and 2, there goes the ball. Might turn into a first down. The ball is scooped up here. And then they lose it. Reggie McKenzie goes galloping down inside the 20-yard line. Mike Haynes comes up with the loose football after he coughed it up. And let's watch all the confusion unfold again.
Well, you'll see Reggie McKenzie pick this ball up, and Reggie has blocked for O.J. in this situation so many times. He's running now. He's looking for his blockers, getting a little high-step action going. Those linemen oftentimes say, why do you guys drop the football when you get tackled?
Steve Nelson not only tackled him, but purposely reached in and punched the ball out. Well, what a day it's been for Buffalo.
All of the breaks are going their way, going towards the Pats. As we mentioned before, a complete reversal of their previous game.
In case you're wondering, had that play occurred in the last 2 minutes of either half, the ball would have been blown dead because you cannot advance a 4th down fumble. The offense cannot. But since we still have 5 minutes and 50 seconds left, McKenzie took off, and Nelson, look at this. Boom, he's going to punch it right out.
What an angle. He grabbed a hold of his jersey, and he took 2 shots at it. The second one was right on the target.
Mosi Tatupu comes around left end and gets a good gain. So David Hum on 4th and 2 popped the ball up, and for once it looked like fate would smile on the Bills as McKenzie took off like his old teammate O.J. Simpson, racing down the sideline, but a complete reversal as he fumbles it, and it was Mike Haynes after the Nelson hit who recovered the loose ball for New England.
I've been in situations like that before as a player, and you just get the feeling that nothing's going to go right. When it rains, it pours. And it started off very early, the first play of the game, and you had a sense that things were just not going to go right for Buffalo today.
Alan Clark is in, along with Mosi Tatupu. Tatupu got 9 on the last carry. Gets nothing on this one. It'll be 3rd and 1 coming up. Clock moving, 5:35 left. Fred Smerlis, the nose tackle, gave him a rather rude, how do you do? Look at Nelson showing Sugar Bear Hamilton how he did it.
Not only did he knock the ball away, but he gave Reggie a shot to the kidneys before he did it. Well, these New England players have done today what they decided to do early in the week. They had a meeting with their coaches. They told the press, they said, look, we're going to play the way we should have been playing. It's not the coach's fault that we won't lose.
Alan Clark breaks one off right tackle. Bill Simpson stops him, but not before he crosses the 40-yard line, a 14-yard run, and another New England first down. Clock moving with 4:44 left.
41-yard line.
First downs are 21-8 in favor of the Patriots. Scoreboard 24-2 New England. Next week, Patriots to the Superdome to take on the Saints. The Bills out to the coast to play San Francisco. A team which a couple of weeks ago upset New England and dealt a damaging blow to their playoff hopes. If, however, the 49ers can return the favor against the Bills, the Pats might be back in the driver's seat. Cleveland lengthens their lead over Minnesota, which is good news for Detroit. 23-9 the score. Browns trying to wrap it up. NFC Central. And Houston with breathing room against Green Bay. It had been 6-3 just a while ago.
2nd and 6.
That score remains the same. They're late in the 4th quarter now at Three Rivers, 21-16 Steelers. 3:38 left, second down and 6.
And things continue to go wrong for Buffalo because we have snow coming now.
Mosi Tatupu. Well, snow shouldn't bother the Bills. They've seen that before. It just bothers a guy like you from San Francisco.
That it does. We have one of the Bill players who's down. They're taking an injury timeout. Take a look at the flags. You think that wind is not blowing? Ooh, boy.
It gets colder and darker, and the snow comes down. The Patriot fans whoop it up. They may or may not have another chance to see their team this year. It depends upon whether the Pats can make the playoffs, and then depending upon just how the breakdown goes, they may or may not have a home field advantage at any point in the playoffs. A Buffalo player is down on the play. Our view has him shielded. We'll get you the information as soon as we can. Next Sunday, the final week of the NFL season, NBC Sports carries you all the way to the Super Bowl. Brian Gumbel has all the latest news around the NFL, including a preview of the playoffs, all on NFL 80 and its regional action. Cleveland against Cincinnati and other regional games, all here on NBC Sports. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. The clock is stopped with 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go. And it's Jim Haslett who made the tackle on the last play and also was shaken up. Outstanding young inside linebacker of the Buffalo Bills. Haslett, their #2 draft choice in 1979. And according to the Associated Press, he was the AFC's Defensive Rookie of the Year last season.
Coming off under his own power. I think what happened is he got the wind knocked out of him. He's going to be okay. Let's give New England credit for really rising to the occasion. Coming into today's ball game, as we mentioned before, with their backs against the wall, a must-win situation. And not only are they going to win, but they're doing it in a convincing fashion. They've run the ball extremely well today. Before they had won by throwing the ball, but today they've ran the ball. They've done a very good job. And I think that they have the momentum now to go right into the playoffs and look like the New England team of the past couple of years.
And their fans, who had been grumbling earlier, are behind them now and roaring on every play. Alan Clark carries on 3rd and 9. He's stopped, and Hubach will have to punt for the first time today. He went back in punt formation in the 3rd quarter, but the ball was snapped over his head, and he was tackled in the end zone for a safety, and the only 2 points of the day for Buffalo. So actually, he is yet to punt. This will be a first, which is pretty well indicative of the way the game has gone.
As you mentioned before, Buffalo certainly doesn't have anything to be ashamed about. Starting quarterback goes out of the game very early. They can still win it by beating San Francisco next week out in San Francisco. So they have time to go back and regroup and continue with the fine effort that they've given all season long. Go out to San Francisco and win, and they're going to be in fine shape.
Either Oakland, Denver, or the Miami-Baltimore game coming up next. Second half of the doubleheader on NBC. We have reached the 2-minute warning, so that stops the clock before Hubach comes in to punt. We're coming back to snowy Foxborough, Massachusetts, right after this.
Let me tell you something about blue jeans. You get in a jam up here and you got real problems. That's why I always go for the best tools, like this saw and my Levi's blue jeans. You see, tree bark will chew through most anything, but these jeans bite right back. And Levi's blue jeans got a fit that's made for work, and that's real important when the changing room's 200 feet down.
Light beer, Mr.
Mataconti, and I switched to Natural Light.
You switched from that other light beer?
Yeah, I think Natural Light's got the taste that leaves them all in the backfield.
You bet, and there's nothing artificial in this less filling beer. It's made with only natural ingredients.
The real point is taste. Besides, since I switched to Natural Light, I'm making a name for myself.
Hey, Nick Bonacani! Where? I know him.
Natural Light. Taste is why you'll switch.
Mike Hubach, the rookie out of Kansas, 11th round Patriot draft choice to punt. And the New England fans are holding an impromptu celebration as the snow falls all around them. Hubach's kick fielded by Roland Hooks at the 25-yard line. And on the fair catch, the Bills have the ball back. 1 minute and 52 seconds and 3 timeouts left. Only a 29-yard punt by Hubach, no return.
With a penalty flag down, they're conferring out there to see who it's going to be against. It's obviously against Buffalo. Everything's been going against Buffalo all day. I don't see any reason why it should change now. Do you?
The atmosphere, a late December game, darkness descending during the 4th quarter, and then snow as we listen to Cal Lepore.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 55. The return, first down.
This kind of atmosphere, this setting, for a late season Buffalo New England game makes you feel like you should be hearing names like Cookie Gilchrist and Albert Dubenian.
Did you see that? Haslam came in there and let one of the Patriots know that he's still around.
David Hum from the shotgun throws incomplete.
Incomplete, intended receiver Roosevelt leaks.
Roosevelt leaks the target. Minnesota gets a bit closer, but that has to be late in the 4th quarter now. 23-15 against the Browns. What battles these teams used to have in the old AFL days. Gino Cappelletti and the boys. These fans figure it's time to get home and get warm by the fire. 1 minute 47 left. Bills have all 3 timeouts. They want to prolong their agony. There's the 7th sack. We will give Ray Sugar Bear Hamilton credit for it. And let's make it 8 sacks for the New England pass rushers. Doug McDougal was also in on the play.
New England club continues to impress. They're all fired up. It's going to be exciting out there when they play next week. They may need some help. Well, I guess they're obviously going to need some help to get into the playoffs. But these guys look so terrific today. Everyone is contributing. Tremendous enthusiasm. And the score is indicative of the way they played.
3rd and 19 from the 4-yard line. Hum out of the end zone. Incomplete.
Ordinarily, that would have been a catchable pass if you didn't have all the snow on the ground. Reuben Gant was coming across. Could have been able to stop and reach back and catch that ball, but under these conditions, he just couldn't stop and reach back at all.
So through 14 games, Joe Ferguson had been sacked a dozen times. Ferguson, Minucci, and Hum dumped 75% of that total today alone with 8 sacks. Actually, my math needs some work. That's 67%, 2/3 as many times. I'm sorry I brought the whole subject up. Buffalo at San Francisco next week. New England will be under the dome against New Orleans. The punt by Cater from out of the end zone. They let it drop and roll, not risking a fumble. At about the 46-yard line of the Patriots, it is down. 59 seconds left. A 50-yard Greg Cater punt with no return. Next week at the Dome, the Patriots will be looking to accomplish 2 things. Most importantly, finish off at 10-6 and then await the outcome of other games to see whether or not they are a division titleist or possibly a wild card, or even if they win, it's possible they would be neither. They might also be looking to give New Orleans the rather dubious distinction of being the first 0-16 team in NFL history. Sits down and the clock runs with 52 seconds.
In any case, they have taken the first step, which was to win today. That was paramount. They've done it. They're in excellent shape now to continue to go on to win next week. As Buffalo Buffalo team could have cinched it today. Their quarterback was injured. They didn't do it. If he's healthy and can come back and play next week in San Francisco, they're no worse off. They're still going to be in excellent shape. Chuck Knox is going to keep this team on the right perspective. These guys know that they're a good football team. You mentioned that they have beaten good teams all season long. They're not going to let this loss slow them down at all.
If Buffalo wins next week at San Francisco, it doesn't make any difference what New England does against New Orleans. The Bills will be 11-5. They will be the champions of the AFC East. If they lose, 10-6 might still get them into the playoffs as titleists if New England is upset at New Orleans, or possibly as a wild card team if New England wins the division. This one is over. The gun sounds and the final score. The Patriots 24 and the Bills 2. The Patriots are now 9-6, and Ron Earhart gets a ride off the field. Buffalo is 10-5. A game separates them in the Eastern Division race with a game remaining. New England led 14-0 at the half, and they go out with a 24-2 victory. Vegas Ferguson had a touchdown run of 9 yards for them. Matt Cavanaugh threw touchdown passes, one to Russ Francis. Another one went to Andy Johnson. John Smith had a 27-yard field goal. Buffalo really never threatened with their offense. They got a safety in the third quarter, and that's all. The executive producer of NBC's NFL Football is Don Ohlmeyer. Coordinating producer, Ted Nathanson. The telecast of today's game has been produced by Peter Rawl. Directed by Richard Klein. Technical director, Arnold Rand. Associate director, John Libretto. For Gene Washington, I'm Bob Costas. Now stay tuned for the Budweiser NFL Report right after these messages from your local station.
Promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. United serves more of this land than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about.
This has been a presentation of NBC Sports. We're proud to bring you the best in sports television.
Tuesday, it's Bob Hope's Christmas special with Lonnie Anderson, Larry Gatlin, and Loretta Swit.
The most spectacular ice extravaganza in the world is coming to Baltimore. Join us for their debut, January the 6th. It's WBAL-TV Family Night at the Civic Center. See you there.
Pulsar brought America its first digital quartz watch. Now Pulsar goes a beat beyond with a new collection of quality quartz watches. Pulsar technology keeps the prices dramatically low and adds quartz accuracy that goes beyond any other kind of watch. Unbeatable quality at unbeatable prices. Pulsar quartz, always a beat beyond in technology, in value.
Pulsar watches available at Hex, all stores, fine jewelry.
Any night after 11 or weekends till 5 on Sunday, dial direct and talk up to 10 minutes to anyone in the United States except Alaska and Hawaii for less than $1.70. So go ahead, reach out and touch someone far away. Give them a call.
Reach out and touch someone. Reach out, call up and just say hi. Reach out and touch someone.
It's You and Me, Baltimore, weeknights at 7:30.
The Budweiser NFL Report is brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. Back at Schaefer Stadium in Foxborough, Bob Costas, along with Gene Washington. New England has beaten Buffalo 24-2. And Gene, there's somewhat good news coming in from New York. Good news for the Patriots because New Orleans has won their first game of the year. They're now 1-14. They beat the Jets 21-20, so that means that New England will not be facing a winless team, and it may seem strange, but I'm sure they'd rather face a 1-14 club than a team that is so overdue at 0-15 in the finale next week at the Superdome.
Well, you're exactly right, but the key is that they won the ball game today, and that's what they wanted to do. The guys showed their enthusiasm and their support for their coach in a tremendous effort.
In just a moment here, we're going to be taking a look at scores of other games. Either we will do so here at our booth in Foxborough, or we'll be going to New York. Let's talk a bit more about this ball game. The Patriots came out, and they took control early.
Well, I think the big difference, though, is the fact that Buffalo played the game without their leader, the quarterback. I've been in situations like that where a starting quarterback goes down, and it has a psychological effect. There's no way to get away from it. Buffalo had all of the breaks going against them today, something which is just the opposite of their first meeting. And it's tough. When it rains, it pours. Then you add on to that the enthusiasm that the Patriots were playing with, and they have great talent throughout their ball club, and that makes for a one-sided football game.
Here's a Patriot ball club which year in, year out, with all the talent on their roster, and in the last 5 or 6 years, they haven't missed with a single #1 draft choice. They've all turned out to be NFL stars. Year in, year out, they talk about them as a team which not only could win their division, but which is a Super Bowl contender, and frequently they have stumbled. But that has not been the case, at least to this point this year. They are still very much alive in the race both for the title and for the wild card. Let's get updated on other games as we go to New York and Bryant Gumbel.
On this 15th Sunday of the NFL season, the Jets managed to help New Orleans put the S back in Saints. It took them 15 weeks, but the Saints finally got a W in the column, beating the Jets by a score of 21-20 in the snow of Shea. And the Jets fall to 3-12 on Sunday number 15. This is the Budweiser NFL Report, brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. Hello again, everyone. I'd like to welcome you back to our NFL 80 studios in New York. I'm Bryant Gumbel. This is Sunday number 15. Yes, the Saints are winners. Their record moves to 1-14, but there's an awful lot going on that affects the postseason chances of an awful lot of teams in this 15th Sunday. So quickly, let us run down the scores. New England Patriots turned back the Buffalo Bills by a score of 24-2 to keep their playoff hopes alive and stymie the Bills' chances of clinching today their first division title since 1966. Final again, 24-2, Patriots winners. Cleveland against Minnesota. The Browns are out in front of the Vikings by a score of 23-15. Vikings had been hoping to win that ball game and thereby clinch the NFC Central title, but they're down by 8 points in the fourth period. Houston against Green Bay. The Oilers appear headed for a playoff position. They still have to win their final 2 ball games. They've got the Vikings next week. They are comfortably out in front of the Green Bay Packers in Wisconsin in the fourth period by a score of 16-3. Earl Campbell over the 100-yard mark. The Pittsburgh Steelers kept their playoff hopes alive and killed off whatever faint hopes the Chiefs might have been entertaining, because the Steelers beat Kansas City by a score of 21-16 at Three River Stadium. St. Louis against Philadelphia. The Eagles searching for win number 12 of their season. Out in front of the St. Louis Cardinals. They're having a tough time at Veterans Stadium. Eagles are out in front by a score of 10-3. Now, we understand that ball game at Minnesota is getting a little bit closer now. The Vikings and the Browns, as we had told you, the Browns are out in front by a score of 23-15. But Tommy Kramer has been enjoying a very fine day. So let's go up there live to Bloomington and check in with our announcers, Charlie Jones and Lenny Dawson. Gentlemen?
This is Charlie Jones, Lynn Dawson. We have 1 minute and 35 seconds left to go in the game. The Vikings have pulled within 1. Here is the touchdown scored just seconds ago.
And Tommy Kramer, the quarterback, has all kinds of time back there. Look at him pumping. Finally gets it to Ahmad Rashad, number 28, who's having a super day today. His first touchdown, you say, in 10 ball games.
And that is his 9th reception of the day. The reason that we have the 1-point difference is that there was a missed extra point. There have been 2 missed extra points, 1 on each side. Is that right? Yeah.
Make it 3.
3 extra.
Cleveland missed 1, and Minnesota 2.
That's been a save for the kicker. All right, Dino Hall is the D-back, but you can forget about him. Dan Meyer, onside kick. Has to go 10 yards before the Vikings can recover. It was first touched after it went 9 yards, so automatically the ball goes to the Cleveland Browns. Dan Meyer simply did not kick it hard enough.
Ryan Sipe, the last time they had the football, threw it. And I'm sure he is questioning that decision right now. Of course, he isn't calling the plays. The plays are coming in from the sidelines unless, you know, it's an automatic at the line of scrimmage. I do not look for Sipe to put the football in the air right now. 1:35 remaining in this football.
And so the Vikings trail the Browns 23-22. And how would you like to be Rick Danmeyer? It has not been the best of days for the Minnesota Vikings kicker. He has missed 2 field goals and missed 2 extra points. Had he just made any 2 of those, the Browns would be standing up and looking on the bright side of a score over the Cleveland Browns. The Vikings would, rather, and they would be well on their way to clinching the NFC Central title. As it is, time is running out on them, and they are 1 point down on the Cleveland Browns in this 15th Sunday of the season. We're going to come back with scores and highlights after this word from Budweiser.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser.
Budweiser wish you and yours the very best of everything this holiday season.
On Games People Play, round 4 of the Youth Fitness Pentathlon. Billy Barty basketball and a man who goes the distance in running against all odds. Thursday.
Okay, since we're getting close to the time that we're going to bring you the second half of our doubleheader, we'd like to welcome those of you first who have been watching that Houston-Green Bay ball game to the Budweiser NFL Report. But since we're getting close to the start of the second half of our doubleheader, let's run down the scores for you very briefly. Schaefer Stadium in Foxborough today, the Patriots picked up their 9th win against 6 defeats by turning back the Buffalo Bills by a score of 24-2. Bills dropped to 10-5. Perhaps of more importance to the Bills' cause, Joe Ferguson had to leave that ball game early on with an ankle injury and never did return. Cleveland appears set to beat Minnesota. Less than a minute to play in that ball game. Browns lead the Vikings 23-22. Houston a winner over Green Bay, as most of you saw, 22-3. Earl Campbell over 100 yards. The Steelers stay alive in the playoff chase. The Chiefs do not. Steelers a winner at Three Rivers over Kansas City, 21-16. Philadelphia now out in front of the Cardinals by a score of 17-3. Let's update that very quickly. Eagles well on their way to their 12th victory. They've already clinched a playoff berth. Atlanta beating up on San Francisco in the 4th period. Falcons in front by a score of 35-3. The Saints finally put the S back in their name by picking up their first win. They beat the lowly Jets by a score of 21-20.